Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. I'm Philbert D, and I have no idea what you're looking at. We didn't have time to shoot again this week, so you're probably looking at some stock footage. Anyway, this is Phil on Films. This week, we're reviewing Ad Astra, Marineros, Men in the Middle of the Sea, and Rambo Last Blood.
This is Major Roy McBride. I'm attempting to reach Dr. Clifford McBride. This is Dr. McBride's son. Dad, I'd like to see you again.
The film is set in the near future, where humanity has gone further into the solar system and has set up colonies on the moon and Mars. Brad Pitt is astronaut Roy McBride, who is recruited into a secret mission to communicate with a long-lost expedition. An expedition that involved his father, played by Tommy Lee Jones. Roy endures the rigors of space travel, hoping to at some point be reunited with his father. At some point, maybe 90 minutes into Ad Astra, I turned to my girlfriend who was sitting beside me at the premiere, and I asked her, could it be possible that this is the best movie I've ever seen? Now, this may sound like hyperbole, and I will straight up admit, I might be the biggest James Gray fan in all of the Philippines, and maybe all of Asia. I would be up there if you looked at the world rankings of James Gray fans. But I really did ask that because at that point, I had realized that this film was reminding me of some of the best movies ever made. It's this strange mashup, this sweeping mashup of David Lean and Terrence Malick and Stanley Kubrick and Francis Ford Coppola. It rolls up all these great movies and puts it in space and turns it into something even more weird and personal and intimate than you would expect. It's Lawrence of Arabia in space, or Apocalypse Now in space. It's 2001 with more faith in humanity. It's Interstellar without the corniness. It's The Tree of Life with more engaging action sequences. It is genuinely one of the most moving experiences I've ever experienced in the cinema. It's a slow, deliberate film that gives you these little bursts of action just to keep you interested. But at the core, it really is just about the relationship that man has with the universe. It's about these exceptional humans who are able to keep cool in the face of inevitable danger of the yawning void that is the universe. And it's also about how maybe that's not what we want. Maybe there is something more vital to the human experience than exploration, than conquering the universe. Maybe there is something inside us that is worth exploring. I fully expect some people to be completely frustrated by this movie. It is really slow-paced, but it kind of has to be. It's just that it would be weird if this movie was more exciting in the way that we think of action movies as being exciting. It's more contemplative than that. At every turn, you are still bombarded with incredible craft, like the cinematography from Hoyte van Hoytema, the Max Richter score, and Brad Pitt putting on the performance of a lifetime, harnessing that movie star cool and then just breaking it down piece by piece. It's so powerful. But at the end of the day, it really is just James Gray doing what he does, making these fast movies that explore the unexplorable terrain of the human psyche. I'm just gonna go out and say this is maybe one of the best movies I've ever seen. I hope you find it in yourselves to explore this terrain as well. 5 stars. Heck, I'll give it 6 stars. Michael de Mesa plays a former seaman who lost his sight in an accident on a ship. Unhappy with the compensation the company is offering him, he decides to file a case against them. Meanwhile, his children are all dealing with their own struggles. His eldest, another seaman, is finding it difficult to be away from his family. His estranged middle child is a waiter on a cruise ship, and he's giving in to temptations on board. His teenage daughter has a boyfriend applying to be a seaman as well, and an unexpected development makes their relationship a lot more complicated. It's easy enough to see the value of a film that documents the struggles of the Filipino seaman. They're a pretty vital sector in society, and cinema hasn't really done a great job of relating their experiences to the greater public. But boy, this film is a slog to sit through. The part of the problem is just the structure. It's just that this film
keeps these character stories apart. There's nothing really connecting these stories together apart from the fact that they're family. As the film cuts between one vignette to the other, it's easy to lose the thread of emotion that is supposed to be playing out. The film's approach is basically just to lay on struggle after struggle. Its primary thesis being a seaman is hard, having a family of seamen is hard. And I guess that's true, but the film does a really bad job of making that seem compelling. It just plays out in such a basic way, telegraphing its problems from a mile away and never really resolving them in any interesting ways. It all feels inevitable. It doesn't really tell much of a story. All it's doing is highlighting issues one by one and telling people to care about them. And again, I can see the value in a film like this, but it's very hard to recommend it to a wider audience. 2 stars.
You're dealing with an expert, with guns, with knives, with his bare hands. Rambo was the best.
Sylvester Stallone returns as John Rambo, who is now living out a peaceful life on a horse ranch in Arizona. But when a young woman that he cares deeply for is abducted by a Mexican human trafficking cartel, the monster inside Rambo is reawakened. He travels to Mexico and provokes the attention of this powerful, well-armed cartel, and using his long dormant combat skills, he exacts violent revenge.
Does the world still need John Rambo? Does it still need this relic of Reagan-era geopolitics? The kind of guy who go into Afghanistan, support the Mujahideen, and in the name of keeping American values in the world in the face of the Cold War? I would argue no. I would argue that we need more nuance in our stories, in our heroes at this age. I would argue that we might not need his brand of violence in a world that is already so violent, in a world that has glorified these men who can just kill at the drop of a hat. This movie is really strange, and it's really strange to think about how John Rambo has transformed over the years since his conception. Rambo First Blood was this really thoughtful film about how America was failing its veterans, how they had sent these young men into war and transformed them into killing machines, and when they got back home they were shunned and despised and couldn't really function in society anymore. And here we're celebrating this damage. We are celebrating the fact that Rambo can kill at the drop of a hat, can exact such violent revenge on terrible people. It's icky. It's a little uncomfortable, to say the least, to watch this white man kill so many brown people. It's weird to see him go into a Mexico where basically no one is decent, where there's just basically one character who might not be worth hurting. We do not need John Rambo anymore. At the very least, this is gonna be the last one. 2 stars. Thanks for joining us. I'm not going to answer any questions. I'll leave that for when we shoot next, so you can see my face when I answer a question. I'd like to tell everybody about the Active Vista Human Rights Film Festival, which is happening right now. Go to activevista.ph, where you can see the schedules and all the things that you can see and all the activities that you can do. It's a really great festival, and I hope you guys go to it. Like and subscribe, leave a comment, ask a question, do all the internet things, and until next time, goodbye, internet. Please save us from police.